Hard work, when practiced consistently, becomes a form of self-respect, a declaration that one's time, energy, and potential are worthy of disciplined investment, and this mindset separates those who drift through life from those who build it intentionally. Because the man who commits to effort accepts that progress often feels slow and that recognition may never arrive. Yet he continues regardless, because his motivation is internal rather than dependent on external validation. And this internal orientation protects masculinity from becoming performative, as it shifts focus from appearance to substance, from image to integrity, and from comparison to competence. And within this framework, love becomes less about how one feels and more about how one behaves, how consistently one shows up, how reliably one follows through, and how responsibly one protects what has been entrusted to him, whether that is a family, a craft, a mission, or a set of values. And this form of love is resilient because it is anchored in action rather than impulse, and strengthened by perseverance rather than novelty. And so a man learns that love expressed through discipline, patience, and effort often speaks louder than affection expressed through words alone. Because reliability builds trust, and trust creates safety, and safety allows love to flourish even under pressure. And this is why masculinity aligned with hard work becomes a source of stability rather than chaos, offering structure in uncertainty and calm in conflict. Perseverance also teaches humility, because sustained effort reveals how little is achieved quickly and how much is gained slowly, dismantling ego while reinforcing patience. And this humility protects masculinity from arrogance, reminding a man that strength is not proven by superiority over others, but by mastery over self. And this self-mastery requires ongoing effort, as old habits resist change and comfort constantly tempts regression. Yet the man who perseveres. As perseverance deepens, a man begins to understand that strength is not the absence of pain, but the ability to move forward while carrying it. Because life does not pause to accommodate healing schedules or emotional readiness. And masculinity that survives reality must learn how to function under strain without becoming hardened or cruel. And this balance is forged only through sustained effort, honest self-examination, and repeated exposure to difficulty, where hard work becomes both a tool and a teacher, revealing limitations while expanding capacity. And this is why men who endure long seasons of unseen labor often develop a quiet authority, not because they seek dominance, but because they have proven to themselves that they can be relied upon when conditions are unfavorable. And this self-trust becomes the bedrock upon which love, leadership, and responsibility are built. As a man who knows he can persist is less likely to abandon commitments when they become inconvenient, and less likely to seek escape through avoidance, addiction, or denial. Because perseverance trains the mind to tolerate discomfort without panic, to distinguish between temporary pain and permanent failure, and to recognize that most worthwhile outcomes demand sustained effort far beyond initial enthusiasm. And so masculinity rooted in perseverance rejects the myth of effortless success and embraces the reality of incremental progress, daily discipline, and long-term focus, understanding that consistency will always outperform intensity when intensity is unsustainable. And this insight reshapes how a man approaches love, work, and identity, because he no longer expects immediate reward for effort, but finds meaning in the process itself, allowing love to mature beyond emotion into responsibility, and strength to evolve beyond force into stability. Accepts that discipline must be renewed daily, because yesterday's effort does not guarantee today's progress. And this truth applies equally to love, work, and personal growth. As relationships deteriorate without attention, skills erode without practice, and character weakens without reinforcement. And so masculinity grounded in perseverance remains vigilant rather than complacent, understanding that strength is maintained through maintenance, not assumed permanence, and this vigilance does not manifest as anxiety, but as responsibility, a quiet awareness that what is built must be protected, refined, and sustained through continued effort. And this awareness deepens love by making it intentional rather than automatic. As a man chooses daily to invest energy, empathy, and time, even when fatigue makes withdrawal tempting, because he understands that love, like strength, is cultivated through consistent action rather than occasional intensity. As a man continues to work through adversity, he begins to develop emotional resilience, the capacity to experience frustration, disappointment, and doubt without being controlled by them. And this resilience becomes a defining aspect of mature masculinity, as it allows a man to remain composed under pressure, thoughtful in conflict, and steady in uncertainty. And this steadiness strengthens love by creating a secure emotional environment in which others can rely on his presence rather than fear his volatility. And this is why perseverance is not merely endurance, but emotional regulation. The practice of remaining engaged rather than reactive, committed rather than impulsive, and responsible rather than avoidant. And this practice is reinforced through hard work, because labor teaches patience, delayed gratification, and the value of incremental progress, all of which translate into relational strength. As a man learns that meaningful connection is built over time through repeated acts of reliability, honesty, and care, rather than grand gestures or dramatic displays. And masculinity expressed in this way becomes attractive not because it seeks attention, but because it offers security, clarity, and dependability, qualities that are increasingly rare and deeply needed. Through perseverance, a man also learns to redefine success, shifting from external measures of status and recognition to internal measures of growth, integrity, and contribution. And this shift liberates masculinity from the exhausting pursuit of validation, allowing strength to be expressed through service rather than superiority, and love to be expressed through responsibility rather than possession, and hard work to be pursued for mastery rather than applause. And this redefinition does not diminish ambition but refines it, aligning effort with purpose rather than ego. And so a man begins to ask not only what he can achieve, but what he can sustain, what he can protect, and what he can contribute over the long term. And this long-term orientation strengthens perseverance by anchoring effort in meaning rather than outcome, making it easier to endure difficulty because the work serves something greater than immediate gratification. And within this framework, masculinity matures into stewardship, the recognition that strength exists to build, protect, and provide rather than dominate, and love deepens into commitment, the choice to remain present, engaged, and invested even when circumstances are demanding and progress feels slow. Always eliminate the other, and this is why comfort produces stagnation while discipline produces growth, because comfort asks, what feels good now? While discipline asks, what builds me for later? And only one of these questions creates strength, because a life built on instant gratification becomes fragile, impatient, entitled, and reactive, while a life built on delayed gratification becomes grounded, strategic, resilient, and unshakable. And this is not a motivational cliche. It is a psychological, physiological, and spiritual reality. Because the brain itself is shaped by what it is trained to pursue, and when it is constantly fed easy rewards, it loses its capacity for focus, perseverance, and deep satisfaction. But when it is trained to wait, work, and strive, it develops higher resilience, greater clarity, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. And this is why the discipline of gratification is not about deprivation, but about dominance. Dominance over impulse, over weakness, over distraction, and over the false promise that pleasure without effort will ever produce peace, because it never does. It only produces hunger for more, and the more you feed that hunger, the weaker you become, because gratification without effort trains the soul to expect reward without responsibility. And that expectation is the root of frustration, resentment, and collapse. And this is why those who master gratification stand apart, because they are not ruled by mood, appetite, or circumstance, but by vision, values, and long-term purpose. And they understand that every decision either strengthens or weakens the future version of themselves. And so they choose effort over ease, patience over impulse, and purpose over pleasure, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary, because greatness has always required restraint. Gratification is the quiet ruler of human destiny, the unseen force that determines whether a man builds a legacy or burns his potential in the pursuit of momentary pleasure. Because every life is shaped not by what it desires, but by what it is willing to wait for, endure for, suffer for, sacrifice for. And in a world addicted to speed, excess, instant reward, and shallow validation, true power belongs to those who understand gratification not as indulgence, but as discipline, as restraint, as the conscious decision to delay pleasure in order to secure purpose, strength, and long-term fulfillment. Because instant gratification weakens the mind, dulls the spirit, and erodes character, while delayed gratification forges resilience, sharpens focus, and produces results that endure beyond emotions, trends, and seasons. And the truth that most people avoid is that the quality of your future is directly proportional to your ability to master your cravings in the present, because every shortcut costs you something. Every indulgence borrows from tomorrow, and every unearned reward trains the mind to expect outcomes without effort, which is the fastest way to collapse ambition, discipline, and self-respect. And this is why the strongest individuals in history were not those who had the most, but those who resisted the most, those who learned to govern appetite, emotion, impulse, and desire. Understanding that gratification delayed is not gratification denied, but gratification multiplied, refined, and strengthened through patience, effort, and endurance. Because the mind that can wait is the mind that can win. The heart that can endure is the heart that can lead. And the person who controls gratification controls direction, destiny, and outcome. And this principle applies to every domain of life: work, relationships, finances, faith, health, leadership, and legacy, because the pursuit of immediate comfort always competes with the pursuit of meaningful success. And one will, mastery, and the willingness to endure discomfort in service of something higher, something lasting, something meaningful. And this is why the discipline of gratification is the foundation of self-respect. Because when you keep promises to yourself, when you resist what weakens you, when you delay what distracts you, you build internal trust, and internal trust becomes confidence, and confidence becomes authority, and authority becomes influence, and influence becomes impact. And this is how lives are transformed, not through indulgence, but through intention, not through speed, but through patience, not through ease, but through effort. And this is the uncomfortable truth that modern culture avoids, because it sells pleasure but cannot deliver fulfillment. It promotes indulgence but cannot sustain meaning, and it rewards consumption but cannot produce character. And so it leaves people restless, anxious, dissatisfied, and empty, chasing the next hit of gratification that never satisfies, while those who choose discipline quietly build strength, stability, and depth, because they know that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. And so they choose wisely, daily, repeatedly, understanding that gratification delayed is the price of freedom, the cost of mastery, and the pathway to a life that actually matters.